right now at 6. The votes are in. We have the latest numbers from our area.
And we're looking pretty good in some locations, clear skies, but we also have some patchy fog to contend with. A look at that forecast, get you out the doors coming up.
Plus, the First Presbyterian Church in Joplin hosted a charity lunch.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
I'm Chris Warner. It is now Wednesday, November the 6th, day after Election Day. A lot of results in. Of course, at this point, for those who may not have heard, Donald Trump projected to be the next president of the United States. Now, just an interesting point of historical fact here. The last time that there was a president that served 2 non-consecutive terms, that was Democrat Grover Cleveland in the late 1800s. It's been more than 100 years since an elected president has served 2 non-consecutive terms. So just an interesting piece of history there. But
yeah, lots of history happening, and it was going to happen either way the pendulum swung, but now we have a clear idea of what the American people want, and the voters have spoken. And this morning we have the numbers from yesterday's election across the 4 states and the country. Now we begin with a couple of proposed constitutional amendments in Missouri. Amendment 3 would provide for a state constitutional right to reproductive freedom, defined to include abortion. Voters passed that proposal. Missouri Amendment 2 would legalize and regulate sports betting in the state. That proposal is currently passing. Under Missouri's Amendment 6, salaries and benefits for certain law enforcement personnel would be paid for through special court fees. Now, voters so far opposed that idea by a vote of 60.6% to 39.4%. And Missouri Amendment 7 concerns voting regulations. It would specifically prohibit voting by non-citizens and prohibit ranked voting. That amendment is passing 68.2% to 31.8%. Missouri Proposition A would raise the state's minimum wage over the next 2 years, hitting $15 an hour in 2026. It would also require employers to provide 1 hour of paid sick leave for every 30 hours worked. At this point, that proposal is passing by a vote of 58.1% to 41.9%. Turning now to Oklahoma, where voters decide 2 statewide referendums. Referendum number 376 would allow the creation of public infrastructure districts under certain conditions. This question failed. And referendum number 377 would clarify the state constitution that only U.S. citizens may vote. That measure is currently passed with overwhelming numbers. Voters decided several other big races across Missouri and Kansas. Missouri is choosing its new governor, and in a large area of Kansas, a new congressman. Chris has those details.
Several executive roles in Missouri's government were on the ballot yesterday. Turning now to some other big races in Missouri. Current Governor Mike Parson, term limited out. That race has been called for Lieutenant Governor Mike Kehoe. He beat out Missouri State House Minority Leader Democrat Crystal Quaid. Bo Slants and Paul Lehman were also in that race. In the lieutenant governor's race, the Republican is Dave Wassinger. The Democrat is current Missouri House member Richard Brown. Wassinger is currently leading. Also on the ballot, Libertarian Iverson and Green Party candidate Elliott. In Missouri's U.S. Senate race, incumbent Republican Josh Hawley is challenged by the Democrat former Marine Lucas Coons. Hawley has been declared winner in his bid for re-election. Incumbent Republican Congressman for District 4, Mark Alford, is challenged by Democrat Jeanette Cass. Alford retains his seat. In Missouri's 7th District, incumbent Republican Congressman Eric Burleson facing Democratic challenger Missy Hesketh. Kevin Craig is the Libertarian, voters re-electing Burleson. In Oklahoma's 2nd District, Republican incumbent Congressman Josh Breachin faced 2 challengers, Democratic candidate Brandon Wade, independent candidate Ronnie Hopkins, and Breachin won re-election. And on the Kansas side of the state line, 2nd Congressional District Representative Jake LaTurner decided to not run for re-election. Voters choose a former State Attorney General Republican Derek Schmidt over former Congresswoman Democrat Nancy Boyda and Libertarian John Hauer. And those are some of the statewide and large area races here in the 4 states. At least we're going to send it back to you for some additional numbers.
All right, Chris, thanks. And taking a look now at some other races in the area. We start in Crawford County, Kansas. Republican Billy Tomasi challenged Democratic incumbent Danny Smith in the county sheriff contest. Tomasi wins against Smith. Cherokee County picked a new sheriff tonight after David Groves announced he wasn't running again. Republican Ryan Henderson wins against Democratic candidate Russ Harper. And in Neosho County, Kansas, Democrat Paul Ornelas challenged incumbent Sheriff Greg Taylor. Taylor wins re-election. Voters in Carthage were deciding whether to recall Ward 5 Councilwoman Tiffany Corsi. That proposal passed. Now we have a more complete list of election results, and it's on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com/elections. Now let's head over to Chris with a look at the forecast.
Yeah, we've got ourselves a clear start to the day. Clear skies out there. So our camera downtown Pittsburgh. We're looking pretty good so far. However, we have some patchy fog to contend with. MoDOT camera, 20th and Range Line in Joplin also looking good so far this morning. But the fog tracker showing we've got dense fog resurfacing again around Independence, parts of western Montgomery County, near Fredonia, Yates Center, Iola, Chanute, Fort Scott, dealing with significantly reduced visibility. So that's all of Highway 54 on the Kansas side, parts of 69, 160. You need to slow down. Give yourself time to get where you're going. This fog has been up and down across the region this morning. So again, use your low beams, not your high beams. And of course, this is what your fog lights are for. Not regular driving, but for fog driving. That's why they're called fog lights. So use those if you've got them. Future track showing us just a few clouds as we head into the afternoon. Despite the fact that we're going to see more sunshine today, we're actually going to be cooler than where some of us ended up making it yesterday, where some of us got into the mid and even upper 60s yesterday. Not going to be the case today. 40 in Joplin, 41 in Pittsburgh. Temperatures around the region. Again, it is a cold start, even some upper 30s. Yates Center, Iola, Neodesha, Sedan, and Independence up into the upper 30s right now. It's now Carthage is as well, and Joplin coming down 39 on this new refresh. But so again, cold but seasonably so. Kids getting on the bus this morning. We're looking to be right about 44. Again, some patchy fog out there. Winds will be calm, and then by this afternoon, a little warmer. Many of us going into the low 60s, mostly clear skies, and that east breeze light at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Highs today, most of us should at least make the low 60s, but some of us may not breach the upper 50s. And again, mostly clear skies will even go clear for a brief period this evening before we see clouds start to increase overnight ahead of a gusty day on Thursday and rain chances Friday. Details on all of that here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, see you soon, Chris. Thanks. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Dollar Tree's CEO and chairman announced he is leaving the company due to some recent health issues. Plus, the path to victory seems increasingly likely for former President Donald Trump. And Chris Warner returns with another look at your Wednesday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Topping Nation Watch this morning, the billionaire co-founder of Home Depot has died. Bernard Bernie Marcus was 95. Now, he had a reported net worth of about $7.5 billion. Marcus gained his fortune from establishing the Home Depot with Arthur Blank in 1978. Now, the duo grew the chain into a retail behemoth that now has 2,300 stores and a stock market valuation of nearly $400 billion. Marcus was Home Depot's CEO until 1997 and served as the company's chairman until his retirement in 2002. A major shakeup at one of the country's biggest discount chains. Dollar Tree announced Sunday its CEO and chairman Rick Drelling is stepping down. Drelling joined the company as chief executive in March 2022, and he said he's leaving for personal reasons and cited some recent health issues. Dollar Tree is struggling financially. Shares of the company have dropped more than 50% this year. Dollar Tree also owns Family Dollar, and it bought its rival in 2015 for $8.5 billion. Former President Donald Trump will return to the White House after CBS News projected wins in key battleground states. Early this morning, Trump claimed victory in Florida before the race was even called, telling his supporters that, quote, "This will be the golden age of America." Vice President Kamala Harris is expected to address the nation later today from Washington, D.C., according to campaign officials. Jared Hill is also in Washington with more.
I think that we just witnessed the greatest political comeback in the history of the United States of America.
Early this morning, the Trump-Vance campaign claimed victory ahead of CBS News projection that former President Donald Trump will become the 47th president of the United States.
This was, I believe, the greatest political movement of all time. There's never been anything like this in this country and maybe beyond.
Speaking to supporters in West Palm Beach, Florida, he promised unity.
It's time to put the divisions of the past 4 years behind us. It's time to unite. And we're going to try.
At Vice President Kamala Harris's alma mater, Howard University, supporters grew less enthusiastic. The crowd later dispersed after a top campaign official told them Harris would wait to address supporters and the nation later today.
We will continue overnight to fight to make sure that every vote is counted.
According to CBS News exit polls, the state of democracy was the biggest issue for Harris voters, but for Trump supporters, it was the economy.
The Democratic ticket all the way for human rights.
While he was the president, everything was nice and smooth, and I still had money left in my pocket.
A vast majority of voters nationwide described the economy as bad after heading into the voting booth yesterday. Jared Hill, CBS News, Washington.
CBS News has also projected that the U.S. Senate will flip to Republican control. The balance of power in the House is yet to be determined. And that's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got some patchy, dense fog out there across the area, especially up around Fort Scott, Iola, and Chanute, so do be cautious. Another look at your forecast when we come back.
Good morning. I'm Elise Snowy with your KOAM News Update. The First Presbyterian Church in Joplin hosted a charity lunch yesterday. The event benefited Cross Lines, a local nonprofit dedicated to providing emergency services that support and improve the welfare of families in need. The church has announced that each month it will spotlight a different organization in need, continuing its commitment to giving back to the community. Well, students at Joplin High School held a mock election yesterday put together by the Joplin Student Council. The ballot the students voted on is an exact copy of the Jasper County ballot. It's a great way for students to get a better understanding of how elections work.
And we've got a cool but sunny day out there. A few clouds, most of us low 60s, some upper 50s though possible for our highs today with an east breeze at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. A period of clear skies later this evening, and then clouds will begin to increase again overnight, going partly to mostly cloudy, falling back into the mid 40s, but some low 40s absolutely possible. Cooler tomorrow and breezy, northeast winds gusting upwards of 20 to 25, highs upper 50s, low 60s. Scattered showers and storms Friday into Saturday morning. No severe weather expected at this point, which is good. We'll clear out late Saturday. We'll start warming up next week with more thunderstorm chances by next Wednesday.
When 80-year-old Norman LeDuc died, among the things he left his son was his book collection, and it's a huge collection at that. We're talking about 40,000 books, and now LeDuc's brother is trying to find all those books a new home. Sweeta Rossi has more.
Mais les livres, il voulait pas les garder.
Michel LeDuc was enjoying retirement until his life became like a story out of a novel, or in this case, tens of thousands of novels.
Quand je suis arrivé ici, j'ai eu
When I came here, I was in shock, he says. He didn't even know his brother, a former library technician, an avid reader, had 40,000 books, which he spent 60 years collecting. It's taking LeDuc 3 years to organize everything. He's already donated 10,000 books, and the rest are here, inside this Rosemont apartment.
C'est la chose la plus difficile que
Organizing all these books is the hardest thing he's ever done, he says. He's turned the apartment into a secondhand bookstore that's open for business 4 days a week, with the average price of a book here less than $10.
Il y a des journées.
Some days I get almost 100 clients, and every time a book is sold, LeDuc says he smiles, knowing it's found a new home.
Parce qu'un livre, c'est fait pour être lu.
A book is meant to be read, he says. He hopes some of the books his brother never got to finish will be enjoyed by someone else. And when they're all sold, LeDuc plans to return to the previous chapter of his life, retirement.
We'll talk about having your own personal library there. Pretty impressive. Now here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Clear skies across a good portion of the area. Beautiful sunrise from our camera downtown Pittsburgh, but patchy fog still to contend with. A look at that forecast when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Just after 6:22 now on this Wednesday morning, we're starting with the fog tracker because, as you can see, Fort Scott, Iola, both have significantly reduced visibilities. Fort Scott just recently improved. Right before we came back, it was at 0.4, 4/10 of a mile of visibility up there. So still dealing with some patchy fog. We've seen improvements in other areas, but you still want to slow down. Watch out there. Use your low beams, not your high beams, fog lights if you have them. Future track into this afternoon is what we're looking at. Just a few clouds here and there. And although we're going to see more sunshine today, we're actually going to be cooler than where we were yesterday, with highs only in the low 60s, and many of us, or at least some of us, may not make it out of the upper 50s. We'll have clear skies late evening, and then overnight clouds will increase, and we'll start to look at partly to mostly cloudy skies. We'll have another cool day tomorrow, but we're looking at a few more upper 50s out there. I mean, take a look by noon. Only a few southern communities, so Bonita, Grove, Anderson, Bentonville, into the low 60s. The rest of the area is still sitting in the 50s by noon. We're looking at upper 50s, low 60s tomorrow. It's also going to be breezy. Northeast winds will be pushing in, gusting upwards of 20 to 25 miles an hour. And then by Friday, early morning, maybe a stray shower or two in our northwestern counties. We're talking Chanute, Fredonia, Yates Center, Burlington, Howard. Those are places that could see a stray shower or two in the morning. We're going to spend most of the day dry, it looks like, at this point. And as we head into the afternoon and evening, that's when we're going to start to see showers and thunderstorms rolling in. So as you can see on Future Track, the actual rain is almost moving north, but the system itself generating the rain is gradually being pushed east, and that will continue as we go overnight into Saturday morning. So eventually all of us should get in on at least some of this shower and thunderstorm activity. And while there is a severe risk for Friday, at this point it is well to our south, and it's not even that significant at this point, which is also good news. We are cold, but seasonably so. 40 in Joplin. Great view of the sunrise from our camera at 7th and Rangeline. Skies are clear, winds are calm. And around the region, again, it is a seasonably cold start to the day. Got some upper 30s, though. Fort Scott, Nevada, Stockton, Joplin, Iola, Chanute, Yates Center, Sedan, all into the upper 30s, and then we have some low 40s outside of that. So again, seasonably cold for us this morning. We're going to start about upper 40s by 8. Patchy fog continuing through about 8:39 at the latest. We'll have a few clouds after that going into the upper 50s by 11 o'clock. Again, a few passing clouds out there. Otherwise, an almost textbook fall day. Upper 50s, low 60s, and that light east breeze at around 5 to 10 miles an hour. Into the evening, again, a brief period of clear skies, and then clouds will start to gradually increase later this evening and into the overnight, going partly to mostly cloudy, mid-40s, but like we saw, or we're seeing this morning, a couple upper 30s, maybe some low 40s will be possible as well. Cool day tomorrow, upper 50s, low 60s. Low 60s as we head into Friday and Saturday, scattered showers and storms, and those will continue into the first half of our Saturday. By Saturday afternoon, those skies begin to clear. We start to warm up well above normal next week, but a cold front on Wednesday brings us more storm chances, something we're keeping an eye on out there, but it will also bring our temperatures back to normal by next Thursday. That is a check of your forecast. We're sending it over to Lise now with Health Watch.
Chris, thanks. Well, demand for popular weight loss drugs is so high, people are turning to cheap generic alternatives. A report by Reuters found many people can't get insurance to cover popular weight loss drugs, which can cost $1,000 a month. Supply chain issues are also causing shortages. More Americans are going online to find generic substitute drugs, but while they are cheaper, little is known about their efficiency or safety. The stomach plays a big role in how our bodies manage stress. A study by University College Cork found microbes in the gut are critical for the stress responding portion of the brain. Even a poor diet could impact how stress impacts us. Researchers say the findings may help lead to better stress treatments in the future. Well, could one more year of school improve your brain health? The answer is no, according to research. While education does protect against brain aging, a study in the UK found no difference in brain scans between people who had 15 years of education versus people who had 16 years. However, overall, people who have more education tend to be healthier in general. While football and Thanksgiving are just a few hallmarks of fall, many of us look forward to autumn allergies can take away all of the fun. And worse news may be on the horizon for allergy sufferers, with doctors explaining why this season isn't expected to let up anytime soon. Sean Langell reports.
A symphony of sniffles is echoing across the country, and a longer fall allergy season is largely to blame. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration has forecasted warm and dry autumn conditions for much of the country. Scientists have also predicted warmer than average winter temperatures across large parts of the South, Great Lakes region, New England, and beyond.
Ragweed and mold are the two most common allergens right now. And because of climate change, warmer temperatures are lasting longer, and we have not had solid frost to stop the allergens from producing.
With many families diving into piles of leaves and using hay to stuff scarecrows, you could be coming into direct contact with a number of allergy triggers.
Mold thrives in damp leaf piles, which we have a lot of right now.
Doctors recommend reducing exposure to pollen.
You can find pollen forecasts online. Keep windows closed in your home and in your car. Consider washing your hands and your face after you've been outside. Over-the-counter or prescription-strength antihistamines can help.
But don't lock yourself indoors. Instead, head out during these low pollen times.
In the fall, ragweed tends to peak in the morning time.
Common allergy symptoms can include congestion, scratchy throat, and itchy eyes. Because we're also getting deeper into cold and flu season, how can you tell the difference?
When we compare allergies versus a cold, with a cold we often see fever, body aches, and fatigue.
And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, the votes are in. We'll have the latest numbers from our area.
And we've got clear skies and some patchy fog to contend with this morning. We'll have a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, students at Joplin High School got a chance to cast their ballots in a mock election.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:31. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is now Wednesday, November the 6th, day after Election Day. A lot going on yesterday. It seems like, we discussed yesterday, it took forever to get to the November election, but we're here.
Here we are.
We've got numbers for you for sure.
Certainly.
And for those of you just joining us, Donald Trump looks to be the next president of the United States. AP officially calling that as well.
Yes.
So big changes, big things across the region. Elise has some numbers for you, and we're going to let her talk about those, aren't we?
Yes. Now turning to a number of local questions on ballots across the area from last night's elections. Starting in Bourbon County, Kansas, voters voted in favor of expanding the county commission to 5 commission districts. Also in Bourbon County, USD 234 asked if the school board should move from electing its 6 members under the district method. Instead, they would use the at-large system. The question passed. In Crawford County, Girard voters decided yes on a sales tax for public streets, bridges, and incidental facilities. And in McCune, they decided whether there should be a sales tax to pay for the general operation expenses. That sales tax passed. In Allen County, voters rejected a sales tax to fund emergency medical and ambulance health care services in the county. In La Harpe, voters said no to a proposed sales tax for street projects and other capital improvements. Moving now to Missouri, Golden City voters decided on Prop A. The measure was a local use tax at the same rate as the total local sales tax rate. That measure passed. And wrapping up in Delaware County, Oklahoma, some voters there decided whether the town of Cleora should be incorporated. Voters said yes to that measure. And we have a more complete list of election results. It's on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com/elections. You can also scan the QR code that you see there on your screen. Now let's head over to Chris with a quick look at the forecast.
And we're going to start with that look outside from our camera downtown Pittsburgh, looking back to the east. And if you look off in the horizon, you can see some of that fog out there. So that's why we've got to be careful this morning. Otherwise, clear skies. Looking good from the MoDOT camera, 20th and range line in Joplin. Fog tracker, dense fog right along the 54 corridor from Nevada points west toward Yates Center. So Iola, Fort Scott dealing with significantly reduced visibility. Same in Independence in the western half of Montgomery County. So again, just do be careful out there this morning. And as you saw on the camera, even though it's not showing up here, there is some fog out there to the east of Pittsburgh as well. So use your low beams, not your high beams, and of course use your fog lights if you have them. Once fog burns off, we are looking at mostly clear skies heading into the afternoon. Just a few clouds out there, and although we're going to have more sunshine today than we did yesterday, temperatures are expected to be cooler today than where they were yesterday. And we have a seasonably cold start to the day already. 40 in Joplin and Pittsburgh. We've had some upper 30s across the region as well. Yates Center, Iola, Fort Scott, Chanute, Sedan, and Nevada and Stockton sitting into the upper 30s. Most of us, though, still hanging out in the low 40s this morning, putting us about normal for this time of year. Kids getting on the bus, about 44. Again, patchy fog out there. Winds will be calm, and when that bus brings them back home, we're looking at just a few clouds, 63. East breeze 5 to 10 miles an hour. Now, most of us should see highs creeping up into the low 60s by this afternoon. Some of you may not make it out of the upper 50s, and so that's going to be a bit of a chilly day. Some folks below normal today. Hey, we're going to stay cool over the next couple of days. We also have increasing rain chances heading into Friday. Details on that in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, students at Joplin High School cast their ballots. However, these votes don't actually count. Now, the school held a mock election put together by the Joplin Student Council. The ballot the students voted on is an exact copy of the Jasper County ballot. Now, it's a great way for students to get a better understanding of how elections work.
I hope that people realize that their vote truly does matter. Every little thing counts, no matter what you put. That is a percentage. If small, it still exists. You are helping, you are voting, and you are making our country what it is.
Now, if you're curious about the results, Joplin students did vote for Donald Trump to be president, Mike Kehoe for governor, and every proposed amendment in the Missouri Constitution passed. Again, these are the mock election results, not the actual election. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. A new study shows just how much a pricey housing market is punishing away first-time home buyers. And we have a warmer and sunny day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. In Consumer Watch this morning, a new report shows the number of first-time home buyers shrinking to an all-time low. Jerry Willis has the details.
A new study showing just how much a pricey housing market is punishing first-time home buyers. According to the National Association of Realtors 2024 profile of home buyers and sellers, just 24% of buyers in the housing market purchased their first home. That's the lowest level since the NAR first conducted the survey back in 1981. Typically, first-time buyers are about 40% of the market.
So for first-time home buyers today, it's an incredibly difficult market. There's very limited affordable housing inventory. We know that high rents, student loan debt, car loans, credit cards, everything's keeping these buyers from being able to save for a down payment and then find that perfect home. Unfortunately, because they're older, we know that that means a loss of housing equity over a significant time frame now.
The report paints a picture of a home buying market that is graying, getting wealthier, and increasingly paying in cash. The average age of buyers, 56 years, up from 49 last year. First-time buyers were 38 on average, up from 36 in last year's survey. Repeat buyers were 61. The proportion of purchases made with cash hit a record high of 26% in the survey period, July 2023 to June 2024. First-time buyers had a median household income of $97,000, up from $95,900 the prior year, and an increase of $26,000 in the last 2 years. Repeat buyers, meanwhile, had a median income of $114,000. Also setting a new high, the proportion of buyers purchasing a home for multiple generations. The top reasons cited were cost savings to take care of aging parents and children over the age of 18 moving back home, and children over the age of 18 who never left home. Though starting a family is typically cited as a reason for buying a home, only 17% of buyers had children who were still living with their parents.
Election day is finally over, but the outcome could have an impact on consumer spending this holiday season. According to a new survey from software company ShipStation, 35% of respondents said the election results would impact their shopping budget. More younger shoppers, known as Gen Zs, said the election would impact their holiday spending, with almost half saying they'd take the results into consideration, compared to just 28% of baby boomers who said the same. 7 Chia Cheese USA is recalling several soft ripened cheeses due to possible listeria contamination. The recalled brie and camembert cheeses were sold under the Aldi brand name, as well as others such as Emporium and La Bonne. Consumers are urged to throw the recalled products away or return to the place of purchase for a refund. And a pair of ruby slippers worn by Judy Garland are currently up for auction. This particular pair of the iconic shoes from the Wizard of Oz film is hitting the auction block nearly 2 decades after they were stolen from a Minnesota museum. The FBI recovered them in 2018. Bids are open until December 7th through Heritage Auctions in Dallas. And that's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Somebody from Kansas does not win those shoes. I'm going to be somewhat upset about that because, as you know, there's no place like home. And taking a look at home right now, this is our camera downtown Pittsburgh looking back to the east. You can see, even though we have the clear sky, still have some patchy fog to contend with. We're looking pretty good from the MoDOT camera at 20th and Range Line in Joplin this morning, but the fog tracker painting a different picture. Take a look. We're down to 0.2 of a mile of visibility in Fort Scott. In fact, over most of Bourbon County and western Vernon County, reduced visibilities around Independence and western Montgomery County, parts of Elk and Chautauqua counties as well. So just got to slow down. Give yourself time to get where you're going. Low beams, not your high beams, and of course fog lights if you have them. As we head into the afternoon, of course, the fog will go away. We'll have just a few clouds. And again, as I've mentioned, although we are going to see a little more sunshine, we are going to be a little cooler for most of us today. Some of us got a little sunshine yesterday in between the clouds, managed to warm up a bit higher than what we thought, but today, that's not going to be the case. Temperatures cold, but seasonably so. 40 in Joplin right now, 42 in Pittsburgh. Do have some upper 30s out there, and the rest of us, though, sitting into the low 40s. And so we got those upper 30s again. Independence, Sedan, Nevada, Stockton, Fort Scott, Yates Center, and Chanute this morning. Kids getting on the bus, we are looking at temperatures being about 44. Fog out there, calm winds, at least some patchy fog. And then when the bus brings them home, mostly clear skies. Should be most of us low 60s, east winds 5 to 10. We're going to look at your forecast in just a moment, as well as birthdays and anniversaries. But here's what's happening first on CBS Mornings.
Hello to you. I'm Gail King. Coming right up on CBS Mornings, I'm sharing 3 meals with voters in the crucial battleground state of Pennsylvania to see how they feel about the candidates with Election Day. It's finally here. That's coming right up on CBS Mornings.
All right, time for some Wednesday birthdays in the 4 states. And we're going to begin with Caleb Fent in Carthage, celebrating birthday number 6. Happy birthday, Caleb.
And heading over to Pittsburgh, a happy 18th birthday to Sunny Shank. It says here, happy birthday, Mama loves you.
And in Parsons, Bailey Monty celebrating birthday number 22 today. Happy birthday, Bailey.
And a happy 64th birthday over in St. Paul to Tina Westhoff.
And we've got Howard and Shirley Bailey celebrating their 69th anniversary in Chanute. A very happy anniversary to the Baileys. All right, that's a little bit of a short list, but any list is better than no list. And if you want to contribute, Elise has some information for you.
Yes, go ahead and submit your birthdays and anniversaries to birthdays@KOAMnewsnow.com. Be sure to include those photos, messages, meet the deadline at the bottom of your screen, and to also include the date of your celebration when submitting.
Absolutely essential information there. You want to make sure your birthday or anniversary airs on the right date. All right, let's take a look at the fog tracker this morning because we've got some dense fog that we are going to have to contend with. Take a look from western Vernon County through the bulk of Bourbon County. Significantly reduced visibilities. This is including parts of 69 and 54, 0.2 of a mile in Fort Scott right now. And we have another patch of significantly reduced visibilities, parts of Elk, Chautauqua counties and the western half of Montgomery County out there. But as you can see, a number of locations, even outside of that, dealing with some reduced visibilities this morning. So again, even though we don't have any dense fog advisories out there, you need to slow down. Low beams, not your high beams, fog lights if you have them. And remember, it's better to arrive a few minutes late than not at all to wherever you're going today. So be careful this morning. After the fog burns off, we are looking at mostly clear skies heading into the afternoon. We'll have an easterly breeze at about 5 to 10, and it'll gradually begin to shift out of the northeast later this evening. Also later this evening, clouds will begin to increase across the area, and we'll start going partly to mostly cloudy overnight tonight, but still staying dry into our Thursday. A partly to mostly cloudy day. It'll be variable across the region, and because of the extra clouds, we're going to be a little cooler in more locations. Now, as we head into Friday, so late Thursday, early Friday, a few isolated showers, maybe a rumble of thunder, Chanute, Fredonia, Yates Center, Friday morning, early Friday morning. Otherwise, dry initially. And then by noon, you can see in our western counties, the Greenwood, Elk, Chautauqua counties, even down to Washington County in Oklahoma, showers rolling in. And as we progress through the day, the showers and thunderstorms we're expecting on Friday will actually be lifting roughly from south to north, but the boundary itself generating these showers will be gradually pushed eastwards. So even though the activity will be moving north-northeast, the boundary itself will kind of force it off to the east as we go late Friday and into early Saturday morning out there. Now, the good news is we're not anticipating any severe weather in our area. Any severe risk looks to be well to our south. We're talking like northern Texas south. So we should be all right. Of course, we'll keep an eye on it. You know how Mother Nature works. She likes to do her own thing from time to time. But we're looking pretty good other than just getting some more much needed rainfall out there. 40 in Joplin right now, so it's cold. It looks pretty out there, but it again is seasonably cold. Great view of that sunrise from our camera at 7th and Rangeline. Got some upper 30s here and there. Yates Center, Chanute, Fort Scott, Nevada, Stockton, Sedan, and Independence. Just about everybody else, though, sitting into the low 40s. So again, cold, but seasonably so. We're right about where we should be for this time of year. We'll have that patchy fog continuing through 8, maybe 9 a.m. at the latest. And once it burns off, just a few clouds out there, starting in the upper 40s and eventually making it into the upper 50s by late morning. And again, despite abundant sunshine today, many locations cool. It's not going to warm up that much. Details on that and another look at your forecast here in just a moment. We'll also have the news you need to know after this break. And when we switch over to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., we're going to hear how middle schoolers in Alaska are stepping up to the challenge to help with those who might be experiencing homelessness.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. The First Presbyterian Church in Joplin hosted a charity lunch yesterday. The event benefited Crosslines, a local nonprofit dedicated to providing emergency services that support and improve the welfare of families in need. The church has announced that each month it will spotlight a different organization in need, continuing its commitment to giving back to the community. Students at Joplin High School held a mock election put together by the Joplin Student Council. Now, the ballot the students voted on is an exact copy of the Jasper County ballot. It's a great way for students to get a better understanding of how elections work. And to see a complete list of election results, you can just scan this QR code that you see there on your screen. It'll take you to election resources on our website. That's KOAMnewsnow.com/elections. And that's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And as you head out the door, patchy fog to contend with, some of it dense, so do be cautious out there. After that burns off, few clouds, temperatures upper 50s, low 60s, east wind at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Wind shifting out of the northeast overnight tonight, still not too bad though. A momentary area of clear skies, then clouds will begin to increase a bit overnight, partly to mostly cloudy, mid 40s out there. Cool again tomorrow, breezy, northeast winds gusting up to 20. Upper 50s, low 60s, scattered showers and storms late Friday into early Saturday, clearing in the second half of Saturday, above normal heading into next week with another cold front by next Wednesday and more thunderstorm chances.
Well, coming up today at noon, we're making bacon roasted chicken in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, cast members from Pittsburgh High School join us in the studio to talk about their production of Les Miserables.
Plus, Adam and Rolling join us in the studio for another Wildcat Wednesday. However, it's going to wrap it up for us for now. We'll see you back here right back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.